Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I'm going through all the news stories this morning, and I come across a story about UFC 295 and pictures of Donald Trump, Kid Rock, and Tucker Carlson were all together at UFC 295. Okay, so I see this, and it says they were cheered going in, and that somebody's wife flipped him off, gave him the double bird. That's not what this video is about. It'll be in the story down below if you're interested in that part of the story. And it talks about how Trump walked into UFC in Madison Square Garden 295 with his this entourage. Okay, I'll be totally honest with you guys. I'll be totally honest. I like I said, you guys, if you've been watching my channel, look, I'm 57 years old. I told you guys, I've said this before, I've been in over 100 altercations. I've had my nose broke, I've actually had my face bone broke, I've had my knuckles broke, I've broken arms, broken bones, other people's bones, and I just can't watch this stuff. And my opinion is most of the people that go to these UFC fights and watch this stuff are trying to be macho, or trying to live. They've probably never gotten an actual fist fight in their life. That's my honest opinion. I can't watch this. It's like a trigger for me. It reminds me of the life I used to lead, and it's not entertainment for me. It reminds me of this life I used to lead, and I can't watch it. I have no desire to watch this. Okay, so I come across this 295, and to be honest with you guys, I didn't know if this was last night or 2 months ago. I don't know that this is UFC 295. I don't know the numbers or anything, so it was last night. Okay, so I'm trying to think, what am I going to talk about? I've talked about Donald Trump. Oh, he had a rally in New Hampshire, up in my neck of the woods. I think it was yesterday, Saturday. And once again, he starts talking about, I just did a video about this, talking about his getting revenge in his next term if he's elected president. Most of the time, throughout U.S. history, you elect a president for the future. What's he going to do for the future? How's he going to change things? How's he going to make things better for the American people? How's he going to make things more prosperous for us? So we can live a prosperous, happy life. But Donald Trump, no, it's about the past. It's about getting revenge and perpetrating these lies of election fraud. And he got into that too. And then he makes fun of Joe Biden. I don't know if Donald Trump realizes that oh, and by the way, he said the president of the United States is Barack Obama. He actually said that. All right. While he's making fun of Joe Biden for being old and misspeaking and stuff, he actually misspeaks, only 2 years old. He's only 2 years younger than Joe Biden himself. And he actually thinks that the president is Barack Obama. So he's doing the same thing that what he's making fun of Joe Biden for, he's actually doing himself. And he's almost Joe Biden's age. So I don't get either. Here's another thing he talks about in this rally. He talks about mass deportations, not only of people that come across the southern border, but of people that have been here for decades, all right? People that have been here for decades and that were born here from immigrant parents. First thing that comes to mind, my ex, Audrey, her parents, big Trump fans. They came here from Lithuania, all right? And I think Lithuania, and I'm not even sure if Audrey and her sister were born here. So I started thinking, well, wouldn't that be ironic? If they're big Trump fans, they vote for him and everything, and they end up getting deported back to Lithuania. I love these people and everything, but wouldn't that be kind of ironic? Anyway, okay, so I'm looking at this, and I almost start to get a panic attack. Seriously, I'm looking at the picture of Donald Trump walking into the UFC arena with Kid Rock, and the first thing I see, being a recovering addict, is the drink in Kid Rock's hand. And Tucker Carlson. So I start looking at these three people. Okay, Donald Trump, who talks about nothing about how, still 4 years later, and he's talking about how this election was stolen from him, which we know is a lie. Everything he's saying is a lie. Then you look at Tucker Carlson, who got fired from Fox News for lying. Okay, then look at Kid Rock. Now, if the LGBTQ community isn't your cup of tea, if it doesn't fit into your moral your moral beliefs. That's one thing. But his little hissy fit, where he's all angry and flipping off the camera, and he's got and he shoots up he goes out and buys, 430 packs of Bud Light just to take him out in the field and shoot him. And, he's all angry and upset. Over what? Over what? Over a trans person in a commercial, it's stuff that doesn't even affect his life. And it's a hissy fit over this. I think what you want to talk about snowflakes. So Trump is walking in with these three people, these two, and Dana White. I don't got anything good to say about him either with this UFC thing. And I almost start having a panic attack. And I'm not complimenting Donald Trump, but I could not do this. I look at him walking into this arena, and this fight starts at 8 o'clock. And then the main fight comes on at 10. So this whole thing isn't over till about midnight. This entire arena is filled with 30,000 people probably, drinking, smoking, weed, and all that. And I almost have a panic attack. And I look at Donald Trump. He's 77 years old. I'm 57. I'm 20 years younger than him. And I think about my life now. I go to bed. I fall asleep at probably about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. I get up at 2 a.m. to make these videos. The way I've changed my life in recovery. And I could not imagine, not to mention my social anxiety disorder. I think that's one of the initial reasons I started using back when I was 20 years old. The first time I used cocaine, it gave me that feeling that I remember. I still remember this. One of the first times I used it, I went to this party, people I didn't know in a town like miles away, pretty girls and stuff. And I used some, and I was the life of the party. I got phone numbers from 2 different girls. I was in the middle of the floor doing my Michael Jackson moonwalk. Seriously. People were laughing. Oh, you got to bring that guy to more parties. He's great. And I thought, they were talking about me. They thought I was the life of the party. And I was like, this is a miracle drug. And it went on to, it went on to ruin my life, actually. And so I look at this, and I could never enter this arena with this many people. I could never do this at this time of night. And the alcohol and all that, I almost get a panic attack looking at this. I'm not sure the reason I get up so early. I get up at 2 or 3 a.m. And 17 years ago, when I first got clean and sober, I started going to the methadone clinic. Medically assisted treatment is what worked for me. It's what finally got me clean and sober after 13 trips into detoxes and rehabs. Methadone saved my life. And the methadone clinic, I'm trying to think, why, when did my life switch from becoming basically operating opposite everybody else's, the time everybody else is out. Like everybody else usually gets up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. and goes to bed around 10 p.m. With me, I get up at 2 a.m. I fall asleep. Some nights, man, I'm asleep by 6 p.m., 7 p.m. My sleep has never gotten back to normal after years of using. I sleep 1 hour at a time every night for the last 17 years. And I'm used to it. I get my rest. I don't know. I almost sleep exactly in 60-minute increments. I fall asleep. I wake up 60 minutes later. I don't know why this is, but it's still this way. And when I wake up, I'll start watching TV. I have TVs on all night. So I've got this weird existence, but it works for me. This is the thing that works for me. I think part of the reason I started doing this is because I wanted to get away from the nightlife, the people that are out. When most people drink and use, like from when they get out of work, say from 5, 6, 7 p.m. When people get out of work, they get their paycheck, they go. The people that I used to hang out with go get their supplies, go to the bar, whatever. And my existence now is pretty much opposite that. And maybe that's what worked for me, but I've gotten used to it. Like by 10 a.m., I've already been up for 8-9 hours. I've made a YouTube video. I've worked out for 4 hours. I've done my shopping. I've done my laundry. Yesterday, I cleaned out a whole closet. I went through 150 paintings, and this was all by noon yesterday. And I'm just on this opposite timetable. So I look at Donald Trump walking into this UFC fight at this time of night. To me, this is the middle of the night. And the arena is filled with thousands of people drinking and smoking. And it's just, I almost get a panic attack. Seriously. I mean, I could actually feel my heart pounding looking at this and imagining if that was me going into it. So I start thinking, what if somebody offered me $1 million? $1 million to do like Donald Trump? Would I do it for $1 million? And, of course, I think I would have to, but I don't know how I would prepare for that. I don't know how I would look to other people, because I think I would be, I'd be so freaking uncomfortable. So I don't know. I'm not really giving Donald Trump credit for what he's doing, but it just made me realize that Donald Trump is not my candidate. He's not my kind of person. Also, this is something else I wanted to mention about, my unique hours. Some successful people do have the same hours that I have. And I didn't realize this. I didn't mold my life like after these two people, but I discovered later that they have the same routine as I do. Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne The Rock Johnson both have almost the exact same routine I do. I think they get up about 2:45 a.m. They meditate, they pray, they work out, they get some business done, they return phone calls. I've seen like Mark Wahlberg's whole routine, and he's adamant about getting to bed at like 7 o'clock at night. And the same with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, same exact thing. So I think those are two people that I'm happy that my life is similar. My routine is similar to theirs. So I don't feel as much of a oddball, as much of a old man, antisocial old man when I realize that Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne Johnson both have my routine. All right, I'm going to be back later. I saw an article about a woman from Venezuela and what she had to do when she got to New York City, what she had to do on the streets in order to pay back a fee. And it reminded me of going to New York City, skipping school when I was 15 years old, and using me and my friend using these services. And it's quite a story. It's a true story. It's nothing I'm proud of. But I'm going to talk about that in the next video. It's going to be I hope it doesn't get yellow lighted, but it's something I want to talk about. You guys have a good Sunday.